Freddie Nunez, a member of the Art 199 Motion Picture Appreciation class, and for my final project of the semester, I will be reporting on the 1994 Fantastic Four film that never saw the official light of day. It's a very interesting story of tragedy and lies, and I'm looking very much forward to introducing this film to you all. So, the 7 key roles. There's a big list of producers on this movie. The two main ones are Bernd Eichner and Roger Corman. And I'm going to get into why those two are important in one of the next few slides in the history of this movie. It was directed by a man named Ole Sassoon, cinematographer Mark Perry. It was written by Craig Nevius and Kevin Rock, edited by Glenn Garland, production designer Mike Strawn. The cast, including Alex Hyde White as Reed Richards, Rebecca Stabb as Susan Storm, Jay Underwood as Johnny Storm, Michael Bailey Smith as Ben Grimm, and then Carl Fascelio as The Thing, Joseph Culp as Dr. Doom, and Kat Green as Alicia Masters. So the plot of the movie covers the main origin story of the team from the comics. They go up into Reed Richards, along with 3 of his colleagues, Sue, Johnny, and Ben, go into space to explore a comet crashing by. But someone stole an important component of the security system, which made them vulnerable to the cosmic rays up in space. They got hit, they landed on Earth, and they manifested all their powers right then and there. After they get their powers, they're taken in by a bunch of Marines who are actually working for Dr. Doom, a colleague of Reed from college days that he believed to be dead. But now he's come back as a supervillain who intends to destroy New York City. And the team has to balance the internal conflict, the internal turmoil between them.
Well, what do you think?
You look
like a dork.
And having to come together to save the city. So the genre is obviously, it's superhero, it's an action movie, it's also a B movie. We'll get into that as well. The tone becomes kind of a Schrodinger's cat situation because it only had a budget of $1 million. So either it's intentionally campy, like something like Adam West's Batman, or it's just so bad it's good because it was held back by circumstances.
Time to take another blood sample. Sleeves up.
Whatever kind of interpretation you want at that point. But despite how kind of cheesy and corny it is, it still manages to have a decent amount of charm and convey its theme, which is more or less the same theme from the comics. Speaking of those themes, Fantastic Four as a franchise mostly covered 2 themes, identity and family, and this movie definitely does that to a T. I think the one scene that exemplifies this idea the most is in the middle of the movie. After the Fantastic Four escape the military base, they're in the Baxter Building in New York, and Reed cracks that the cosmic rays tap into their psyche and that all of their powers are actually reflections of their personality.
What did you just say about being shy?
This is a problem that I have sometimes when...
That's it. Susan, that's it. You've got a problem with being shy, right? So, you vanish, get it? Johnny, you've always had a quick temper. Now, come on, ever since I've known you, right? You could call it fiery, so what happens?
I catch fire.
Exactly. And me, I've always had this problem. I just stretch myself thin all the time, trying to take care of everybody, trying to do everything at once. Too many things. Ben, you've always relied too much on brute strength when your intelligence would have sufficed.
Essentially making their greatest character flaws their greatest strength. Meaning they have to come to terms with who they are, come to terms with themselves, and get over themselves and work together. Which is, like I said, that's the main theme of most of the comics, and this film adapted that perfectly. And so now we can get into the actual lore behind the movie, the production. In the 1980s, a German producer named Bernd Eichner and his company bought the film rights to Fantastic Four, and they were set to expire in December 31st, 1992, if a movie is not into production by that date. And so Eichner really struggled to get a movie company to pick it up, because he only had a producing company. And there was interest from people like Warner Brothers and Columbia, but they were scared by how much the budget might be. So Eichner was starting to get desperate, and he cracked up the idea to just put something in production, just anything. It doesn't even mean it has to be released. So he tapped Roger Corman, who is a B-movie legend, to produce the film for $1 million, which is, quite frankly, pocket change in the grand scheme of filmmaking budgets. The film went into production. Principal photography started merely days before the expiration date in December 1992, merely not even a week before. But they technically fulfilled the obligations. The movie was in production, starting to ramp up all throughout 1993. The marketing started to ramp up. There was trailers shown at our movie theaters. There was magazine interviews. There was everything. It was set up for a January 1994 release date. But at the very last minute, they pulled the plug. The crew behind this movie had no idea that they were making essentially a dead film. It was just last minute. Eichner informed them that the movie would not be getting any sort of release. Now, the intention behind this has been debated by people involved, as Stan Lee himself has claimed that the movie was never really meant to be seen by anyone, but both Corman and Eichner have said that yes, it was, but have no real official statement on why they canceled it. But if you take a look at the movie, it's pretty clear that they didn't want to tarnish the brand before they could get it out to a bigger studio with bigger budgets. So as for the artistic decisions in this movie, most of them, 99% of them, are because of the budget. Yes, the effects are bad, but that's all they had to work with, really. Watch the movie, there is a genuine passion that radiates from it, which is kind of beautiful if you think about it. And honestly, Doctor Doom this is still the best Doctor Doom interpretation we have had on film thus far. As for my personal feelings, if you judge the movie like as a movie, just raw, straight going into it, it's terrible, quite frankly. But I think there is a charm to its imperfections. It makes it more human, especially when compared to something like a 2005 movie, which had a much more polished, much bigger budget. It just seems more corporate, while this one seems a little more human. I think it's also served as a really good cautionary tale for the battle between artistic integrity and corporate politics. I don't think there's any better example than this. The people in this movie, they were convinced they were making something good, something they could be proud of, and it was just pulled from them last minute. And quite frankly, the fact that they put anything together with $1 million is very, very inspiring. The film never released. It has survived through bootleg VHS tapes sold at various Comic-Cons, and then when the internet came along, it was uploaded onto all the platforms such as YouTube and Dailymotion. Since it's been spread throughout the internet, it has really gotten a cult following amongst fans, so much so that the original cast has been contacted and made cameos in the newest MCU Fantastic Four movie that came out just a few days ago as I'm recording this. I saw it. I personally only recognize Alex Hyde White, but I'm sure the others were there, and I just couldn't see them in the background. Plus, they were invited to the premiere. So we are a little bit closer to justice. And so that was 1994's Fantastic Four. I highly recommend it, despite its minute cheesiness. And I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Thank you.
To the storm commands the line.